For over a decade, my play-owned house has been a place where I built 1001 bits of the same furniture, changed my shoes, and gloop gloop. Today, that's changing. I've got an empty plot of land, a cup of tea, and Eggos who are just as excited to build a house as I am. Let's get started. I want this play-owned house to do three things. First of all, it needs to be useful. Think teleports, potion cauldrons, crafting stations, you name it. Utility. Second of all, it needs to be a place I can show my achievements and journey throughout RuneScape. And last but not least, if people are going to be able to visit houses now, which they can, it needs to feel like a place people would actually visit. In other words, it needs to be aesthetically pleasing to the eye. In fact, I'll have a bunch of JMods rate it later in the video, so make sure you watch until the end. I wanted to create something that felt like it belonged somewhere in Gielinor. There's just one small problem. I currently own a massive patch of grass. So nice in fact, that random people came into my homestead to tell me I had nice grass before awkwardly leaving me by myself. But fear not, where the grass is green, there is potential. Every great house starts with a vision, a floor plan, something different than whatever this is. When designing my house, I wasn't initially sure which layout I wanted. An H-shaped or L-shaped design seemed practical and medieval, while a traditional castle layout with 4 towers also seemed appealing. I eventually settled on a U-shaped design, inspired by Camelot Castle with a central courtyard enclosed by the wings of the building. At the beginning of the design process, I had a clear idea in mind. I wanted to create a tight, simple L-shaped house using basic squares and rectangles. It seemed like a straightforward approach, but as the design started to take shape, I noticed that something wasn't quite working. The roof lines weren't intersecting the way I wanted them to, and as such, I decided to change up the design. Adding corner pieces also allowed me to give the house a little bit more shape without ruining the cohesion I was going for. While developing the floor plan, I also explored the idea of adding a floating front section by extending a corner piece from the first floor. Although that concept was interesting, it didn't quite match what I was going for. So I decided to simplify the design and stick to it, which is what you're seeing on screen. With the general shape ready to go, it's time to start building and adding the interior. In terms of interior options, there is a lot to choose from, and there's also gilded variants, so trimmed chairs, clocks, and so on, but I mostly kept it subtle because I felt like that would fit my housing theme. So I went with regular mahogany for the majority of the interior stuff. This first room I'm building is going to be my teleport room to the left and my dining room to the right. So it's a combination of both. Okay, so unfortunately it does seem that putting a bench like so doesn't work. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to replace the fireplace. Place one in front of it like so, and we'll fill up that space later on. Unfortunately, something I realized, and this is something you'll see me struggle with throughout the video, is that certain objects, namely carpets, benches, and some tables, cannot be placed in the way you want them to. Some are locked to certain rotations. For example, the bench can't be placed diagonally. And yes, I just placed a portable altar of war on the floor. That's a brand new thing you can unlock by buying the recipe at War's Retreat. As a quick note, there are loads of new construction recipes and items to obtain, and they aren't all handed to you. Some require items from NPCs or shops, while others cost reward currency you've earned elsewhere. This is supposed to encourage you to venture back into Gielinor as you build your dream home. Now, first impressions do matter, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove one of these mahogany stools and replace it with a broken stool to show that we're still humble. We'll also place our cauldron here, which we're going to use to put a bunch of overloads in. We'll get back to this room as soon as we filled up the rest of the house. There's still some decorating to do, but for now, the general gist of this room seems to be where I want it to be. We'll be turning this into the kitchen, so let's go ahead and place down some functional things. After kitchen, we of course need to make sure we have a range, which looks really, really good. And I think we have some smaller cabinets as well, so maybe we can play around with those. Now we have a little bit of an open kitchen right here, which I think looks functional. But it is missing a little bit of props, which we thankfully have. At least, well, I did prepare a couple things. Let's see, oak shells 3. Our plates, pots, pan stuff, knives. Yeah, a little bit of everything. Shelves 2, 1, and 3. Yep, looks good. Just needs to be mahogany. Be right back. Well, as it turns out, you can actually create mahogany shelves. So I think teak are probably going to be a little bit more fitting. So let's make sure we make a bunch of those instead. Yep, that definitely adds some detail to the kitchen, which I think I'm happy with in the way it is as it is currently. Put a rug here, like a clock? I don't know. Maybe like a rug? Oh, whoa, those are big. Bigger than me. I don't really know where to put this massive aquarium entrance, so I'm gonna go ahead and slap it right in the center of the room. I think that makes the most sense. Now, this is the utility room, so there's a good chance we're gonna get thirsty, so let's make sure we add a hydration station. Take that sip, fellas, and don't forget to stay hydrated. Let's make sure we place some rugs around these staircases to kind of give them a little bit of a, so that, well, the floor isn't boring. I don't know what to place here. As for here, I think I have an idea of what I can place here instead of these bookcases. Yeah, there we go. So right, I just think that the color doesn't fit the organ's color, which is a little bit of a problem. Maybe we need to add a different colored piece of wood. Finally, a place to show off my musical skills. Alright, we've made it to the achievement wing, in which we're going to be building a couple of cool little things to show off all the insane achievements I haven't got yet. Alright, we've collected a bunch of capes and have actually decided to do something entirely else than place cape stands over here. I think these could be better placed elsewhere. Let me twist that around. There we go. Perfect. I just lost a, that should be showcasing a Zuck cape. What's going on? I just lost the Zuck cape, didn't I? Wait, what if I go in build mode? Can I take it back off? Okay, I can, thankfully. Okay, we're good, we're good. Yeah, I think this looks nice. Yeah, kind of like how it looks, yep. Oh, you're telling me you can't store the blood cape, the soul cape on the stand? Oh, that's a shame. What about the veteran cape? Can you store that? Okay, okay. We're good. We're good. I was going to say, Jagex, like, what? Can you not store these? Due to it being like a trophy room. So I'm going to see if I can place it like so. Like a so, and then... Oh, yeah. There we go. So our trophy room is looking a little bit more like a proper trophy room. I'm pretty sure you can add like heads and boss trophies to these, but I deleted all my heads, so the King Black Dragon heads and Abyssal heads I have, so I can't really fill anything on these mounts just yet, which is kind of a shame. If you want an idea of how these look, here's an example of my buddy Schlippy, who's in my homestead. Also in our trophy room, we're probably going to want to place at least some trophies, so I'm going to place these pillars here. I'm feeling rather okay about what I have here in terms of things. I'm happy with how this looks. So far, that is. Next up, the first floor. Yep, we're going to be making a bunch of these bookcases because we'll be making a library/lounge area on the first floor. Oh, nope. I guess you can't actually physically block the stairs. Kinda... I wish they would align. I don't know how I feel about this personally, but... that gives us an area to sit. Add one of these, and then one of these. Kind of make it feel like a proper library. Maybe over there, like a little bit of variation, so to speak. Fill up the room a little bit. Kind of like how this room is turning out, not gonna lie. I was so engrossed into bringing each room to life with the options I had to pick from that I didn't even realize I'd reached the furniture cap. Considering I still have plenty of recipes left to unlock through the wider game, that really just shows how much choice and things there are to decorate. It's worth noting that Jagex is already aware of this and looking into it. Oh, I just reached my maximum limit, so I actually need to leave some of these rooms. Hold on for a second, harsh cut. I got completely sucked into the building process. Fully immersed. So, I had a challenge ahead of me. I remodeled my altar and guest bedroom into the master bedroom, followed by using my remaining furniture slots for the garden. I think inside-wise, we've added plenty. We have your utility room, we have our achievement room, We should still add a couple of teleports to the teleporter room, but I think we have to get started. Nature is finally healing. Nice. There is a lot of customizability on the outdoor section, but I won't be able to show you that because my dream house has been focused mainly on the interior. For my very first house in the new player-owned housing system, I think it turned out pretty good. But I'm probably a little bit biased, so I asked 2 Jagex moderators to give it a proper rating. Before we jump into the tour and rating though, I do need to add one more important element. And that thing is going to be this throne. Don't question it. Just admire it. Just gotta give you one of those.
Lovely. I like how your hermit crab is living as a hermit in the corner over there.
Wait, where is he? Oh,
he's like over there.
He's down there. He's over there.
He's
wandered off.
Welcome. This is the teleport and dining room I've designed. It's a little bit cluttered. Does something catch your eye, by the way? Any first impressions?
The broken stool?
Yeah.
Why do you have a broken stool?
One thing I would say is your dining table
Yes.
is a bit too close to the wall.
See, this is the kind of table. This is the kind of table I'm more used to. It's in the kitchen. Like this is the dining table for people to actually eat at.
Pet house feels a bit out of place in what you have here.
Azana, are you out for blood?
You said this is the utility room. I'm testing the utilities. This is the flex room.
Well, the room next to it is the flex room. Despite the Eggos being very excited about all the capes, there's no trophies yet. My stupid self didn't know this up there was coming 2 years ago, and I deleted KBD heads, Abyssal heads, other Slayer heads. I removed them all from my bank.
Question on the capes. Is there an order to the placement, or is it just like whichever one you grab next?
I did it based on cosmetic liking.
I'm either debating like a color cadence or or alphabetically.
But this is like a loungy library area. I thought the bookcases are probably my favorite item, like generic item that the game has available, and I think there's so many things you could do with these. This is just one example. I think there's potential
This is really nice.
really pretty
I like
rooms.
the aesthetic.
I am always a fan of having a library.
Even just having the archaeology cape next to a table with maps in front of you, like it's very, very well thought out. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. I am loving the rune displays. Those are so
And this is
cute.
my favorite room so far. You can get rid of the chairs; they don't need to be there.
No?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to lounge up here on these chairs.
So
Because if you've got the mirror and stuff here, you're kind of wanting like a little dressing area, right? Yeah, but one more over. Perfect. This part of the room feels a bit random to me.
I think this is the moment you realize that you're running out of limit. Yeah.
Yeah, is this when you
yes.
realize you've got none left?
yes. With that out of the way, it was time to ask Maud, Azana, and Yui what they thought of the house. While slightly different than my own personal requirements, I asked them to rate it on creativity, practicality, livability, aka realism, and vibes.
Overall, I would give it a 3.8
Out of 5, right?
out of 5. The one that lost the points for me is livability because it's a big house and that's a lot of walking.
I'm going to give it a 3.5 overall. The creativity is nice. I do like the practicality of where you have placed things. However, the size of the place, I feel, is what made me reduce my numbers in terms of livability and style.
Absolutely
Yeah,
fair.
I just feel like it could be downsized slightly just to fit more in, but also just give it more purpose. Also, you haven't got any of the heads, right, for the pedestal, so maybe it'll look different once you put the heads in. But I don't feel like the cape room needs to change that much. I feel like more upstairs and your little workshop area. I feel like that will probably need the biggest change.
I think these scores are very fair, and I've got a little bit of feedback to change up my house in the near future. What do you think of my house? Let me know down in the comments below. With that being said, we've come to the end. Make sure you drop a like if you enjoyed, and a thank you to RuneScape and Jagex for featuring me on their channel. Perhaps I'll see you in the next one. Peace.